Bill is working on another shelf to put our wood on. That way we don't have to put so much weight on one area. And we still got to clean up a pile out here. And he's still got lots of wood to cut. So he'll be busy this summer taking care of all that. Then we got a lot of scrap wood right there. He wants to saw up for our wood stove heater on the back porch. And then there's some nails here. They're bent nails, and he's straightening them out to use them. And some of them don't look too bad. He can take the bend out of that. But he's always saved them so he can use them. So he'll be doing that too.
An old barn apart out there several years ago when I didn't want to throw these nails on the ground because of livestock. And I saved them. I'm going to try a thing sometime, but when they bend like that, they lose all their temper. I'm going to try to heat these up and re-temper them. I've done that with knives before. You get them red hot. I like to use diesel and just dip them in the diesel. But you have to use a torch to get them red hot, and then just in a cast iron vessel, and then dump them in a pan of diesel. It won't catch fire. And put the temper back in them, and it's just something, you know, for hard times. I don't know if it'll work or not, but I'm going to try it on a future time. Is straighten some of them and then put the temper back in them. Might need them one day.
Yep.
Red gloves. This is my work gloves.
He keeps putting scotch tape, or not scotch tape, but
duct tape.
Huh?
Duct tape.
Yeah, duct tape on them. Keeps getting hose on them.
I knew a fella that I think I seen that on TV too, but I didn't know a fella. He said his daddy could fix anything with a roll of duct tape.
That's right.
Yeah. But I'm going to try to put the temper back in them and see what that does. Because they bend easy like this. What you really got to do is pre-drill. And you can make them work like this. But if you put the temper back into them, you probably don't have to re-drill or pre-drill. This is Susie needs to do this.
No.
What this makes me think of, I think I've talked about it before, but I've got a book about the family that pretty much discovered a lot of Mesa Verde up in Colorado. It's called the Witheriels of Mesa Verde. Anyway, there was a big family. They moved to Colorado from back east in the late 1800s and homesteaded a place right at the foot of Mesa Verde in Colorado where all the cliff lay down. But anyway, this family, there's 3 or 4 sons and several daughters, and large family, and they homesteaded this place in Colorado. I forget how many acres. But in the wintertime, when it was snowy and cold out and they couldn't get out as much, they couldn't afford nails. They built their barns and houses and everything. So they sat around by the fireplace in the wintertime and whittled pegs. And they'd pre-drill
Oh, that'd been fun.
the lumber.
Yeah.
And that was a hand drill, auger. And used in pegs, but there's a lot of that up in parts of Colorado, especially Utah. where they used wooden pegs to build stuff. The Mormons did it a lot. But doing this, it makes me think of that book about that family. They at one time they had pretty well free run of that area where Mesa Verde is now, and they discovered the Cliff Palace, if anybody's heard of that. The Indians probably knew about it, but I think they were the first white people to see it. And they did get a lot of relics out of there, and they've been really judged because of that. But the powers that be went in there and got a lot of stuff too.
They always do.
And they're sitting around in places like the Smithsonian and the Denver Museum,
and their houses.
And they're charging people to come in there and look at that stuff. So they can't squawk.
Them people, they ended up in Sand Springs, Oklahoma, didn't they?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, the main character, the guy that wrote he kept notes of all of his travels. He took scientists on horseback trips, pack trips, in the Grand Canyon area and up into Utah and in parts of Colorado. And I don't know what he charged. I'm sure he charged them something. There was a lady actually that he took, and that was unheard of in that day and time. She was a botanist from the Denver Museum, I believe. Her name was Alice Eastwood, and she was way ahead of her time. Women still rode side saddle a lot then. If some didn't, but most did. She didn't want to do that, so she had a skirt that she would wear. She probably had more than one. Well, she slit that skirt up and made like pantaloons out of it.
Well,
or she could ride a straddle of the horse.
Them desert trails, they're rough.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to ride side saddle.
And you need to have a good hold of your horse.
Yeah.
Because he took her all up into the Canyonlands area of Utah and up around Moab. I think he met her north of Moab one time with horses. He had to go up there for some reason. Are you watching?
Yeah.
And brought her back all the way to, I believe it was Cortez, Colorado, from Moab on horseback. And she documented the plants, the new plants that hadn't been discovered in that part of the country, and actually named a lot of her scientific name is Weatherillia. She named it after that family. Put that scientific name, put their name on the back end of it to kind of honor them. And the government in charge of Mesa Verde kind of downplays them a lot, that they robbed the place, but everybody was doing that, and even the museums were hiring. They were selling to museums too, and they were in Chaco Canyon. If anybody's ever heard of that, Chaco Canyon in northern New Mexico.
It's an interesting place.
They had a homestead there. One of the older brothers, and he's buried at Chaco Canyon. Him and his wife. If anybody knows anything about Chaco Canyon, it's a big complex, ancient complex.
What was the name of that book, if anybody's interested?
Yeah, what?
That book about them?
It's called the Weatherills of Mesa Verde. I got it at a museum actually in Oklahoma. I run across it, and he just documented a lot of his travels and his family's travels. They moved from back east and come out and homesteaded in that area. They got a homestead. Back then you could get a homestead. You know, the government was encouraging people to move west, and they stopped that in about 1905, I believe. They eliminated that. It was free land. You had to improve it. And I believe it was 160 acres, or I think you could work it up to, it depends on the size of family, you could work it up to a section or more. But it encouraged people to move west. And But the story is about their family and different things that went on with them, but mostly about the Mesa Verde ruins in southwestern Utah, southwestern Colorado and southeastern Utah. And, interesting book if you like that kind of stuff. It's a good book to read, especially when everybody's sitting home right now.
Yeah, it's an interesting area.
Yeah, we still got the book in there.
I love it out there.
Yeah, it's a real interesting country. It's kind of hard on horseback because it's a lot of rock, a lot of slick rock.
And
You got to be careful.
big gully ditches, whatever they
Big
call them.
canyons,
Yeah.
deep canyons, and
It's perfect for hiking.
yeah, it's. I think it's overrun with bicycle people and four-wheelers pretty much now. We used to make trips up there and camp a lot in southeastern Utah and southwestern Colorado. But there's getting a lot of traffic nowadays, but it's still interesting to see.
It is.
But getting back to this.
You're gonna be busy.
Yep, I'm not going to do a bunch of them. Just a few to tack it together, and then I'm going to use these deck screws to where it might not pull. And I want to stack all this lighter wood on this other one here, and use this one for the heavier stuff.
Well,
Maybe it won't fall apart this time.
I gotta go work too.
Okay. Take these guys with you.
They won't work with you, but Peanut will work with me. He likes to work with Mama.
I got to do this work.
Well, appreciate y'all coming by and watching. Bill's going to have a lot of work to do over this side. Thanks for watching from Out West Homestead. Bye. Peanut, are you going to work with me? Yeah, he is.